Alright, one of the last things we're going to do is learn how to protect a worksheet and hide some sheets. Protecting a worksheet lets you to figure out which cells a user can modify. And that means if you do all this hard work and you get all these formulas laid out, you don't want somebody to come in and accidentally hit something and mess it up. So there are certain things you want to lock into place so nobody can touch them. Like for instance, you should be able to only be able to, you should only be able to change up in the mortgage payment calculator a few things. So things like the item, the price, the down payment. There are certain things in that area that maybe you want to be able to change, but you don't want anybody else to mess up your calculations. So the way it works, you have to. Well, it's kind of funny how it works. I'm going to go back to home here for a second, and I'm going to point out. If you look under protection, under format, you see that this says lock cell. So technically, all your cells are locked when you start an Excel sheet. It's just not enforced until you go and play around with some settings. If you want to set up protection for certain things, you can lock things into place or unlock them. I'm going to come over to D5, which is here, and I'm going to do D5 through D7. Okay. I'm going to hold down my control key, and I am going to do F4 through F5. Okay. And then once I have those in place, I'm going to right click so any of the shaded area to get to format cells. Alright, once I get to format cells, I'm going to go to the protection tab, and you'll notice that those cells right now are locked. I'm going to unlock them. So that means when I protect the worksheet, those 5 cells will not be locked. Okay, I'm going to choose OK. I'm going to deselect those ranges, and then on the Review tab, I am going to click Protect Sheet. So right here, I'm going to protect the sheet. You'll notice that it asks you for a password. If you want to put a password in place, you can, but you have to be very careful, because one of the things that can happen, if you put a password on a sheet, there's no way to recover it if you forget it. So just keep that in mind. If you're going to password protect sheets, you might want to make a record of them somewhere that nobody can get to, so that you're able to retrieve the password if you forget it. Alright, we're going to verify that the protect worksheet and contents of locked cells is still checked. And we're going to make sure the first 2 boxes here are checked. With all 3 of these boxes selected, the worksheet's going to be protected from modification. The first 2 checkboxes in the list let users select any cell in the worksheet, but they only let them change unlocked cells. So it keeps anything from getting messed up that you don't want messed up. All right, I'm going to hit OK. All right, and then just to show you, if I came down here to try to change the loan amount, I get an error. It pops up and tells me I can't make a change. However, if I wanted to change this to, say, a condo, I can type in there and change it. Okay? So only those cells that we selected are unlocked at this point. It's really easy to unprotect. You just hit unprotect up here. If you want to protect more than one worksheet, if you want to protect more than one worksheet, you can do that. Either select each worksheet before you start, or click the Protect Workbook button, and it'll allow you to do that. So when this particular protected worksheet, when it's protected, it's made available to users, they'll only be able to enter data in the cells that are unprotected. And that will keep people from messing up anything that you've got going here. If you want to hide or unhide worksheets, that's pretty easy to do too. And I'm just going to add a new sheet here to show you. You have to have more than one sheet in your workbook in order to be able to do this. If I right-click my mortgage calculator payment calculator sheet, I get a shortcut menu. There's a hide option on there. If I click hide, it will hide that sheet. If I right-click and hit unhide, it lists the sheets that are hidden, and you can hit OK and unhide them. So that's pretty simple to do. In addition to that, you can also hide and unhide workbooks. And that's useful when you have several workbooks that are open at the same time and you maybe want the user to be able to view only one of them. So some users will hide entire workbooks when the computer's unattended, so they don't want people to see their work. And that's done through the View tab. So if you go up here to the View tab, there's a hide button here. If you click it, it hides everything, and unhide will bring it back. So just keep that in mind too.